welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapist TV show and podcast. I am your host, Christine Innes. I'm delighted because from all over the other side of the world, we've got the very beautiful Mandy joining us. So thank you, lovely.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. I'm excited because we've had a couple of conversations and I absolutely love what you do. And I think you're absolutely amazing at what you are. And plus also you're going to come into our June issue of the magazine. So everyone will get to read about you as well, which is exciting. So I'm going to hand it over to you and get you to introduce yourself. And then we're going to have a really amazing conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. So yes, I'm Mandy Nicholson and I'm the creative genius consultant. I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm a creative retreat owner in Scotland and the UK, and I help creative women to launch, grow and scale their businesses and make more money. And I'm on a mission to stomp all over the myth of the starving artist.
Oh, I love that so much because there's so many people out just going, oh, well, I'm just going to write a book. And it's just like, it's just a hobby. Or, they design these beautiful paintings or, they've just got so much work that they put into their own craft, but they undervalue themselves so much.
I experience that all the time with my clients. They just struggle with charging their value so much. It's one of the very first things that we work on, and it comes from a societal view of this starving artist, of it's a nice hobby, but you need to get a proper job on the side to live. So nobody's actually said to them, this can be a business for you. There's a very small percentage that actually make it.
Yeah. And do you think that it's also like, I know you said it's like a society view, because it like when we talk a lot about stories, and it is
Yeah.
something that we're brought up with going, you go to school, you got to get a good job, and when you retire, that's when you have fun. So that's normally the pathway that most of us are taught.
Yeah. And yet, when you follow the thing that brings you the most joy, which for creatives is their craft, then actually you're going down the perfect path to build a career. And that's what I teach women, is that, you can monetize that skill, that talent, that genius that you have.
Mm. And when you look at it too, because I speak to so many people and they go, oh, this is just a side hustle, or this is just going to make me a little bit of money. And when we look at like what they're charging, but they go, oh, but it's only the cost of like the materials. And that's literally what they work on. But they
Yeah.
forget the time
Yeah.
of that it's taken to make that end product.
Well, not just the time to make the product, the time it's taken them to learn the skill and hone the skill and become, if you take, for instance, a plumber who charges a lot of money per hour to come and fix your pipes, it takes them years to become a plumber, and we pay that expert for the money. Yet when it comes to art, we actually undervalue it. There's so
Yeah.
many crafters that I come across that people expect to pay pennies for their work as
Mm.
well. There's that expectation from people that they don't want to pay hundreds, thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
It's a select few that pay that.
Yeah. Whereas I get more joy out of looking at a painting than what I do probably looking at the work that my plumber has done. So like
It's a bit
honestly,
more
you want to
long.
start, yeah, like, oh, that's a little bit nicer. Um, so you pay for it in the enjoyment and the
Yeah,
feelings that artwork or that piece brings to you as well.
yeah, totally. And it doesn't matter what sort of creativity that you do, it can be monetized. I mean, at the minute in my creative business, I've got 100% success rate with the women that I've worked with over the last 4 years, which means everybody's gone on to build a successful business. Now, successful business doesn't look like millions to some. It just means that they're earning enough money above the poverty line to live on, doing
Exactly.
what they love.
Exactly. Now, you and I have had this conversation before because I believe that, when you're a creative person, that you will have probably multiple,
Yeah.
creative outlets happen. And so many people go, oh, you have to niche down. Whereas I'm blowing the myth on that because I believe
Yep.
that when you stop that creativity coming through, it's almost like putting a chokehold onto it and you actually stopping everything.
Yeah. Totally. And actually, the creative brain is so different from the left brain. So different that most left brain people will not get a creative. In fact, I see that there's a huge synergy with neurodiversity and creativity because we think so differently. We're usually the weirdos in the room. And if we're not doing multiple projects at any one time, then we are bored. Unfortunately, it's just the way that it works. But what I teach is it's okay to do that. Let's focus on one thing, get it making money for you, then introduce the other things one at a time, because that's the confusion. A creative needs variety, but they also need to understand how business works.
Yes, yes. And I love that you touched on that topic just then, because I was literally having the same conversation today that, you know, regardless it's a creative field or let's just say it's a massage therapist, you know, we can be trained in that, but we're not trained in business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I went to university, did a degree in art and design. Nobody got me ready for business. You're sent out with that degree, but no business savvy whatsoever. And that's the difference, isn't it? Once I learned business, because I've been in, you know, corporate world for 20 odd years, learned business, I could then apply all of those things to my own business. But many women do not have that knowledge. It's learned. You can learn that thing, knowledge. You have got this amazing talent. So you're able to learn what it needs to do, what you need to do to become a business person.
Yeah. It's not also just the learning part, it's also knowing who to go to. Because I think that's one of the big things, you know, obviously, you know, like if we talk about artists or, you know, the creatives, they've got a really great community. But then to step them into a entrepreneur community, that sometimes can feel a little bit disjointed within themselves. However, they were actually both like perfectly aligned.
They are. There's a huge connection. I mean, an entrepreneur by description is a creative because they are creating something from nothing. So there is a fit there, but they have to be careful. Creatives, I get lots of women coming to me that have worked with other coaches, that have worked on other programs and got nowhere and not done the work and felt like an alien and really not fit with that left brain, do this, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah.
There needs to be variety in the teaching as well as variety in the creation.
Oh, so true. So true. I've worked with some coaches before, and when I try to, you know, they go, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. But my creative brain actually stops me from doing that because it might just seem like a tedious task, or I can't see the creativity, or I'll get stuck and I'll go down that rabbit hole with it as well.
There's so much self-sabotage and resistance in a creative brain to being told what to do because, again, by nature, we want to create.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like it's taken me a long time to sort of understand that concept. And it seems like for me, I'm like, oh, well, why weren't we taught this? Like even in school to be taught that, you know, we learn differently, that, you know, what may, you know, sit in a classroom might work for somebody else is not going to necessarily work for another person.
I actually watched this happen with both my children because both of my children are creative. Both of them are on the spectrum. My son is autistic. My daughter is autistic and ADHD. My daughter's just about to graduate from university with an honours degree in art and design. My son has a HND in illustration and animation. Creativity and allowing them to be creative has helped them make sense of the world, but teaching for them in school, they could not learn the way they were being taught. And despite me going in and speaking to teachers and saying, can you teach my child differently, please? They are autistic and creative. They have a curriculum to follow and they can't. They're so rigid. The system is rigid. The education system is rigid. And then the business system is kind of rigid as well. Which is why I thought, I'm going to step up and do this. I'm going to step up and I'm going to step in and show that there's a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely. And I can so relate to that. Like, I mean, my son, he would get in trouble in school, and, you sort of sit there, and it wasn't until I learnt, different learning styles, I'm like going, oh, well, this all starts to make sense now. But,
Mhm.
and now he's a fully qualified diesel mechanic because he loves to work with his hands.
Yeah.
So, like, we all learn differently. And I think there's a big sort of myth out there going that you're either book smart or you're creative, but you can actually be both.
Yeah, I always say that I'm the left brain. The left brain was taught business in the corporate world. I was very successful in the corporate world because actually I could see beyond
Mm.
the black and white paperwork. And actually, I was one store manager of the year. I was one of the top performing divisional executives. Who knew that this artist was going to go into that world and be successful? But guess what? Set me apart, my creativity.
Mm.
So, I am very left-brained in terms of understanding how the processes work, but the pull is always to the right brain. And you can have both and you can learn both. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that us creatives have that the people that are more left brains don't necessarily have because they can't necessarily step over to the right brain vision.
Yeah. Yeah. Over the last couple of years, I personally have seen a shift in how we do business. Have
Mhm.
you seen a shift in how people are connecting with other people, and, how they're showing up for their business?
I think so because I think the pandemic and lockdown taught us to be a bit more authentic because we were kind of trapped in our houses having to do what we were good at.
Mm.
So I think there's been more authenticity brought into that business space now, and a lot more opportunity for small businesses and for creative businesses to grow using social media because there are lots more people consuming it because
Yeah.
of lockdown. So I think there's been a huge shift there, and it's tapping into that and learning how to do that effectively and, get seen by the people that are going to buy from you.
Yeah.
And I think on top of that, also, there's people have expanded their networks. So it's important to be expanding your network all the time with the people that want and need what you have.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot of with creatives that you work with, that there's still that block, I guess, within themselves, whether it's the ego or, the self-sabotage that you're talking about, to really get them to recognize the true gift that they have within themselves?
Huge, huge thing. In fact, my program is a year long because it takes that long
Yeah.
just to get the creative to see their value, to see their worth, to truly see their talent and build up the confidence to be really visible with what they do. So
Mm.
the first few modules and possibly the first 6 months of the course are about confidence, getting stepping over those limiting beliefs, reframing things that they've been taught and learned, but through the schooling system by parents.
Mm.
Auntie Brenda comes along and, nods, shakes her head when you say, I'm going to be an artist, because
Yeah.
she knows that that's going to mean poverty
Yeah.
because that's what history says. So, yeah, there's a huge issue there with building that confidence because once they step into that worth, um, then it changes everything. And I've got a huge success story from one lady who didn't believe that she was in the right place and could change her life with her creativity. And now she's flying.
Mm. I always say to people that if you want to learn personal development, start a business, because you're going to learn
Yeah,
more about yourself than
yeah,
any other course that you can actually do.
totally. Mhm. Totally, yeah. And it is that, isn't it? Because watching them come out at the end of the 12 months
Yeah.
as a confident person, for
Mm.
me, is everything because I know they're going to go on. They might not be where they need to be in the business at the end of the 12 months because, sometimes business takes longer than that.
Yeah.
Often business takes longer than that, but they know everything they need to know and they have the confidence to go out there and continue to work. And
Yeah.
that's what's important. The courses that are coming up on your newsfeed telling you that they can make you a millionaire overnight and that, sign up for my course and
Mhm.
that's just wrong.
Yeah.
It's misrepresentation.
Yeah.
It takes time,
Yeah.
particularly for creatives.
Yeah. I always think that, probably one of the, like, a lot of people ask me, well, what's one skill that you need, as a business owner? And I always say the word resilience, because it is those ups and downs, with business, because not only are you learning the business, but you're learning about yourself and trying to integrate the two together. What would
Yeah.
you say is like one word that would describe, what it's like to have a business?
Um, I would say I can't think past resilience really, because it's that ability to bounce back up, because there's going to be so many knockbacks along the way. Resilience and confidence, that you can actually achieve it. And for creatives, vision of where they want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And just sort of being able to, I guess, think bigger. Then it's not just
Yeah.
their artwork, it's actually them as well, and their passion as well for it.
Yeah, that's what I say. You are your business. I mean, it was when I put a castle on my vision board and did the work that did the sums to how much I needed to buy a castle, that actually gave me the belief that why not me?
Yes.
And, I'd already manifested everything, my dream home, gone from rock bottom with no money to rebuilding my life.
Mm,
And then my husband died, and I had this castle on my vision board, and I thought, well, life's too short. I might as well just go. The ability to give yourself permission to think big
mhm,
and genuinely believe the vision that you're creative and that you can do it is everything.
mm. It's so interesting that you said that, because I've had multiple conversations today already about giving yourself permission. And I
Yeah,
think it's almost like that little child within us, because it's all those stories. It's almost like
yeah.
you have to give yourself permission to dream big. You have to give yourself permission to, create the life that you want, not what society thinks, what you want.
Yeah, totally. And I get this all the time with, and it starts very basic. Give yourself permission to charge more work for your work. Give yourself permission to see yourself as successful,
Yeah.
and don't have fear around success, because we
Yeah.
do have a lot of fear around success. And be confident in creating that vision. And it's one of the things I do about 9 months into my program, is how to think big and really create that big vision. We build confidence first, we teach business basics, we teach marketing, and then we go, right, what's the biggest thing you can think of that you'd like to do?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
get that on your vision board and let's work it back. How much is that lifestyle going to cost? How much do you
Mm,
need to earn to have that? Let's crunch the numbers a bit.
yeah. Yeah. Do you find like there's a big trend at the moment of people staying behind the brand? So there's like this faceless marketing with it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Because I truly believe that we should, as business owners, we need to be the face of it, and we need to share our why.
Totally. And this is what I say to all my clients when I see they've got a picture of their art on their Facebook banners and they've not got a photograph of themselves. I'm like, you've got to step up, because you are the business.
Yeah.
And people need to know the story behind your business, the story that brought you to where you are. Why are you serving the people that you want to serve? Why are you doing what you do? Why have you
Mm,
made this decision? That
yeah.
story is everything. I tell mine all the time through my socials.
Yeah. Oh, look, you and I speak the same language in that aspect
Yeah.
as well, because it's everything. It's what separates you from everybody else. And, there's a million artists out there. There's like a million people who have written books. And, what separates you from everybody else is yourself. So if you're not
Yeah.
sharing that, then there's no connection with a
Uh,
potential client.
I find, and what I find is, obviously, I've written my book, The Life I Won, about my story of how I went from abundance to rock bottom. And there's another 2 books in the pipeline. And my book is like $10, and my program is, £6,000 and £10,000. There's a huge gap there, but lots of people come into that program by reading the book that tells the story
Yes.
first. So they invest in that, they read the book, they follow me, they get to know, they listen to my lives and all the other things that I do. And then along the way, they're making this decision, aren't they, to invest in themselves. They're scared, but they're
Yes.
making the decision. So I think that story is vital to your success.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. I think it's probably the easiest and also the free marketing that every business owner could do.
Yeah. I, be visible, show up every day, tell people your story through your social media, tell them how you can help them, tell them why they should buy your products, why you're different to everybody else. That's marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to take people through what it's like to work with you because I know you've got your book and you've also got your programs. So, do you work one-to-one or is it a group program?
It's a group program, but they do get one-to-ones in it as well. So my signature program is the Creative Mastermind. It's 12 months. And in that program, you get the online teaching platform, which has everything in it, from self-confidence, limiting beliefs, right through business processes, right through marketing, and then leadership and scaling. So the teaching is there, but they get with me 3 group calls a week. So there's group coaching. They get one-to-ones over the course of the 12 months, but I also have a tech expert. They get tech coaching twice a month. And they get mindset coaching from my mindset coach twice a month because all of those things are important in building a business. They also get, as part of the signature program now, a 4-day retreat here at the Art Bank in Scotland, which is my mini castle. So it's a huge program with loads of value in it and loads of personal contact because I added the retreat to it this year. There is a VIP program as well where they get 2 retreats, they get 12 one-to-ones, they get a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, so it's about that working basically at the end of the year, they know themselves inside out. I've helped them personally through their year and built their business with them, then cemented it at a retreat here. So yes, that's what it's like to work with me. It's a
I
very
love it.
bespoke because everybody's journey is different.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree on that. I think, we all come in at different levels too, but we
Yeah.
don't know what I guess, I don't want to say gaps, but I think that's the only word I can think of where we need to fill to be able to, like you said, create the confidence, but also to help them grow that, sustainable business. And I think that's one of the key things is to keep it sustainable. It's not a quick, fix thing.
Not a quick
It has to
fix.
be sustainable.
I think that's where the group calls help so much because the community
Yeah.
end up helping each other because they're all at different levels, because they all are
Yeah.
creative and they all know different things. They spring off into little WhatsApp groups, supporting each
Mm,
other, helping each other with the things that one knows
yeah.
doesn't. And that's the beauty of a program like that, is it's not just about me. This is
Yes.
about the ladies that you're going to come and work with and meet and be able to help each other. And that is I love that. That makes
Yeah.
me really happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Community is everything. And
Yeah.
I say it all the time, the fact that I think your community, not only that your biggest cheerleader, they are also your mirror to sort of really show you your true value, your true gifts. And someone also reminded me today that, it's also about holding you accountable for what you say you're going to do.
That's exactly what creatives need. They have to
Mm,
fill in an accountability form every Friday to review what they've done, what they've achieved, and what they're doing, and send it to me. And you know what? That action of doing that is holding themselves accountable. They're not in
mm,
trouble if they don't do anything. They just
yeah.
hold themselves accountable. And I think that is necessary for creatives. Otherwise, they're off chasing shiny objects, procrastinating, yeah, obstacles, creating obstacles in their
Hmm.
own way, yeah. So there is a need for that as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely adore what you're doing. I think it is so needed, and I love the fact that you're just allowing people to really truly shine and follow the pathway that they're destined for as well. So, thank you so much for bringing this to the world. I think it's so needed.
Thank you. My pleasure to come here and talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to also read your article. So that will be in our June issue. We're going to put all the details of how you can reach out to Mandy as well and, really connect with her, follow her, just the information she gives. And I think that the greatest gift that you're bringing is also just allowing people to be themselves as
Mhm.
well, and allow that to shine through, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank
That's because we're all awesome.
We are, we are. Before we go, I've got 5 questions that I would love to ask you. And these are just questions that we've been asking all of our guests this season. So, first of all, I know it's morning time over there for you. Are you a coffee or a tea person in the morning?
Oh, tea, absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah. And if you were to go on a beautiful holiday destination, would you prefer to travel by boat or plane?
Boat.
Oh, I like that. I
Mhm.
like that. Yeah. And if you've got some quiet time, would you prefer to curl up with a book or to watch a movie?
Oh, probably write a book actually.
Yeah,
So
I love that. I love it. And if you could have you're having a dinner party and you're allowed to invite one guest, and that could be from the past or from the present, who would it be?
it would be my dad because I
Yes.
miss him.
Yes, I'm the same. I can completely relate to that. So,
Mhm.
and the last question, I would love to know if you could, in one word, describe yourself.
Um, Crazy.
It. I love it so much. So we're going to pop all the details, Mandy, for people to reach out to you. And I thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us today.
Thank you for having me. I've really loved it. Thank you.
My pleasure. For everyone who has watched this episode, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you've got any comments, pop them below and we'll reach out to you. And remember to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.